Well, haven't made a video in a while, but kind of into a project right now. Thought I'd make a video about it. I'm doing a 5.9 swap into a Chevy, which is pretty close to done. This will be a video of what you need to know if you're doing it. If it's a 12 valve and if you got a 96 or 90 Chevy. First of all, if you got this kind of Chevy and it has a standard NV4500 5-speed transmission, that and the 6.5, first thing you need to know is NV4500 in a Dodge is different. This shaft right there is different lengths and stuff. So I actually had to there's the transfer case. I had to put the entire powertrain out of the Dodge in here, which really wasn't too bad actually. I just used the mounts out of the Dodge itself. I got some gears in there. Yeah, I know, looks pretty redneck, but it's solid. I just blew the welds out, used that. Yeah, so the other thing you're going to need to know is you're going to have to lift the cab. I got blocks under there right now. I got a whole bag of pucks. I'm going to puck lift the cab, which I'm thinking 2 pucks is going to do it, which is what the height. I actually got a little higher than it should be right now, but like the steering. Almost dropped the phone. Let's see if I can get in there. Everything works out. Your steering has lots of play in it. Adapting the Hydro Boost, power steering and brakes and everything, all the fittings are the same. So you got a few that are just straight up hose clamps and hoses, and then you got some that are let's see if I can get in there. On the back there, there's, look at it, but this line, that's this one going into the bottom, is coming from the Chevy, and it's the same line that the Dodge has, so that all works out. You can just adapt it in. That's pretty easy. I rebuilt this thing except for doing the top, and I did the bottom end, not a full rebuild. It looks pretty good up top, no blow by or nothing when I ran it before, but bearings were pretty worn. I also put the Banks power kit in it, fuel plate and such, so that was pretty easy. All you got to do is take this AFC housing off. There's tamper-proof bolts, which you just hit with a chisel, and you can take them out with a screwdriver then. With a kit there, they give you new bolts and everything, so not a bad thing to do. Gonna be putting the rad and everything in today, but I'll take a video at the very end of what I figured out with that. But I got electric fans, as you can see, and a little wiring kit and adjustable thermostat, so it tells it when to kick in and stuff. But yeah, that's pretty easy. For underneath, for like the transmission and stuff, when you get it in there, actually I got the stock cross mount in there, and I got the Dodge rubber mount that goes to the transmission, or just on the back of the transfer case or front of the transfer case. Pretty easy. Here's the one out of the Chevy. They look the same, but they're not the same. On the Dodge one, you gotta slit that hole a little bit to make everything fit, but other than that, everything fits right in, so that's pretty easy. But the only thing now, with all the Dodge powertrain in there, I gotta change the drive shaft. But the nice thing is, actually, let's go back here, the Dodge drive shaft will work. So that will go, because you have the Dodge transfer case, so that fits. And then these caps here, it's the same setup as the Chevy with the straps, over there, over the caps, and that all fits in, so we don't have to worry about the length, everything. I got it in there, put it in, worked. I took it back out. I'm gonna get a new universal for this thing, so, but yeah, that all works. That's pretty nice. But yeah, I really strongly recommend, if you're gonna do this build, just get an old wreck truck. This thing is pretty destroyed, and it's a different cab on this thing, but it's nice when you're wiring stuff up, just so you have all the connectors and stuff, and you can just cut into them. Like I'm just doing the fuel shut-off solenoid. For your clutch, there's this slave cylinder, basically off the Dodge. If you look on the side, the light's a little bright. There's a little roll pin in there. You knock that out, knock the one of the Chevy, knock the one of the Dodge, pull the line out, put it in your master cylinder, put the pin through, and you're done. It's pretty easy, and it actually fits in pretty nice, where you can put the slave cylinder on the bell housing. That all works. So that's pretty simple. Also, yeah, lifting the cab, you have lots of room underneath. So far, I gotta move the cab over. It's not straight right now, but it fits in the hole pretty nice. I can shift through all the gears. 4-wheel drive gear shift. I kept the Chevy one in there. The linkage is actually from the Dodge. It's still on the side of the transfer case, and it works out pretty nice. So you just gotta adjust it a little bit, but not much. Just gotta give you a look underneath. So you can see the light. It's in the same location basically as the Chevy, same length. I got the Chevy one in there right now, just figuring out lengths and stuff, but that all works. And then you got your stock mount. I gotta tighten the bolts, but everything fits in there, so that's cool. Wiring, other than the oil pressure, I got it off the filter. Put lume on that line, but yeah, it's winter right now. I'm not really worrying about the AC. I'll do that probably in the spring. I'll make a bracket so I can get a belt and everything off the front, and there's a little bracket you can get that goes on basically right there off those 3 bolts. It kind of comes forward. You put the Chevy one on, so off the 6.5, so it's pretty easy. Yeah, then the starter is on this side, but the Chevy has the 6.5 one on this side, so I just ran the wiring on the back of the engine over to the exciter wire, which is a purple wire for your 6.5, and it's a brown one on the Dodge. I just butt connected it, so it turns over and everything now. It's pretty cool. Thing I'm figuring out today is, because now I don't got that Chevy transfer case in, for the 4-wheel drive, needs signal from the transfer case to kick in the front axle there. There's a solenoid, or a little solenoid kind of right there, and that's the connector for it. So I just got to figure out the signal wire to tie in to kick it on with a switch when I put it in 4-wheel drive. That'll be a little different, but so far it's been pretty easy, so I guess I have to have some kind of shit to make me swear about. But yeah, I fucking broke the crank in that thing, so it's no good to me anymore. I got another 6.5, a 99 outside, so yeah, I'm just gonna use it for parts. But yeah, it's nice having a truck here, because you can steal relays and connectors and wiring, and your, a slave cylinder for your clutch and any little thing off it, so it makes it a lot cheaper. I got this truck for $4,000. Motor was a little weak in it. But the other thing is, I strongly suggest, if you're doing this and you're going to get a little bit more power to your 5.9, to probably do the I did a south bend clutch. It's a 13-inch oversized. So it's supposed to not slip. It's supposed to be rated 400 horsepower clutch or whatever. It's the first thing to go on these things because you get into fifth gear and you're hauling something with it. They tend to slip. So I did a clutch. That's $1,300. Everything else was pretty cheap. That was probably the most expensive part so far, other than the truck itself. So yeah, that's not bad. But I got a service truck here, so it's pretty nice having all my tools. I just bought it, so I'm kind of busy. I started my own company up here, so been on the road a lot. But yeah, hopefully having this thing done. Any questions, throw a comment below. I'll have it done here, I'm guessing, in the next week. So yeah, it's Christmas time, so I have lots of time. It's kind of slowed down in the patch, so yeah, hopefully I'll have the fenders on and rad in tonight, and we'll see what happens this week. But yeah, that's a 5.9 in a Chevy. Well, it's been a long ass time doing this build, but we are at the finish line almost. So that's what it looks like now. Got a few things to do on that bumper, but fuck it. That ain't no 6.5, I'll tell you that. A little bit of a wiring mess right now, but I just gotta tidy that up. I ended up putting an old regulator, voltage regulator off a 91 Dodge for the alternator to work on this thing. Well, and a whole bunch of other fucking things. New solenoid. Make sure you wire those things up right, because they will fucking melt. And well, the EcoBoost fans, they work really good, but I need to get a thermostat that's a little hotter. I broke that one off, so you can see right here. But yeah, it has EcoBoost fans in it. I had to completely massacre the front support and do my own thing to fit the rad and then the intercooler. I was gonna make some kind of a mesh grill, but you know, I live in deer country, so thought, hey, let's make something that'll withstand something. And if the light bar breaks because I hit something, well, I got a couple of them, so I don't really give a shit. Ended up adapting a K&N filter to this. It's temporary, but it works. So I wanted to drive it around and test it out. I put a pyro in there because I had the Banks power kit in this thing, so it has a fuel plate and shit. So I moved it all the way forward too, so I'm putting out a lot of fuel. Actually, a little bit too much fuel. I'm gonna have to adjust it because every gear I blow black smoke now. So lots of power. I burn out in first and second gear in this thing. So drive shafts. Oh boy, on that wrong side. Let's go to the other side. So I got tires I'm gonna get for this thing because I don't like. Well, I got Governor Springs done to this thing. So it revs about 3,000 now. I didn't do anything more than that because I have to do valve springs and shit. But with the 5-speed and then the 410s in the back end on the Chevy, I'm revving like 2,400 RPM at 100 kilometers an hour. And I'm going to put 35s, I think 35s, 37s should get me up to, 1,900 RPM, well, at 100. So I got to do tires. I was going to do diffs, change the gearing out and go to something lower. But then it's 4-wheel drive. Then you got to do the front. And yeah, tires look cool anyway. So, I still got the dump pipe out the side. But, let's get the fucking flash. So yeah, I got it coming out of the transfer case, and I had to use the Dodge ends, cut them, and put them on. Well, actually this one I had to shorten that shaft. Different steady bearing, which I think is the one for the Chevy. So it's yeah, that all is the same, but I just had to cut. And that's the Dodge one, That's the Chevy drive shaft. I had to put the Dodge yoke on it. As you can see, I cut it. And then the back end, that's all original. So, but yeah, that was a little fun game. There's my awesome lift. You know, hockey pucks because I'm Canadian. But, so I guess we can fucking look at the cab. There's some bolts. That's my awesome shifter. Oh, I'll weld it up. My boost gauge, so I got my top switch is fuel, and then I got my light bar, fucking bright. I got pyro top, I got the middle is the coolant temp, and then I got my oil pressure. So, 4-wheel drive on this thing. So I had to, there's a switch on the transfer case on the Chevy. Dodge does not have that, so I had to wire in a switch for the transfer case. So you turn that on, and everything down there is different. I had to renumber it, but and then you pull that thing back, and then you got 4-wheel drive. So it looks like it's in 4-wheel. It's actually in 2-wheel, but it's like fuck. I'll show you. 2, 4. What is that? Neutral, and then 4 low. See, it doesn't move as far as it used to, but it all works. It's functional. Got 4-wheel drive, so fuck it. Yeah. Chevy probs. I got an old chain. Fucking pull the latch open. What else did I have to do to this thing? Other than the front end. The front end was probably the biggest part because I had to modify everything, and then I modified the hood. And people ask me, well, why didn't you just drop it lower and further back? Well, then I had to do more modifications to the drive shaft and all the mounting points on the transmission. And, you know, this is nice to work on. It's higher up. Kind of looks cool. Frankenstein look, you know. So, I got these extra fans on the front. I'm guessing maybe in the summer I'll need them. I don't know. Right now, it's spring, so it's like fucking 5 degrees out. Some days, you know, around 0. And I don't even really need fans. The thermostat opens and it drops right down. But if I do, if I'm idling or just sitting there, you know, in traffic, I throw these little fans on and it cools it right down. So we'll see in the summer. But yeah, no, it has lots of power. A lot more than that fucking 6.5. So yeah, so there's a lot of things that I did to this thing. But fuck, if you have any other questions, you can throw it in the comments. And yeah, so I'll do a couple more things to this thing, but yeah, I'm running and driving it. Just drove it probably about 1,000 K so far. It's been fine. Got some mud on the tires, so yeah, that's my fucking 5.9 in the Chevy.